big accident. Um, I got out of the car and fell flat on my face on the concrete on the garage. But I mean, I wasn't paying attention, I guess. And when I got up, my sister-in-law, I was on the back seat behind her, and she had her seat all the way to the front, and that belt went back, I guess, and I didn't see it. And when I went out, and I tried to get out before her because she has a hard time getting out of the car. She's a little overweight. But anyways, I guess my foot went into that loop, and I didn't notice. And when I got out, I went flat on my face on the concrete. This whole side was, I mean, black and blue. It didn't hurt because it got, I mean, I didn't feel it, but then as soon as I set up, I sitting there for a minute and it started pounding. And my sister-in-law finally got me up, and I sat on the car, and I put my device on it because I couldn't get any service for my touch. So on my phone, so I put my device on there. Within 5 minutes, the pain was gone. I did not have no pain. But although the bone right here, and I have purple. It's all black and blue here, but I use a lot of makeup. I do it extra this time, but anyways, wasn't hurting. So my cheekbone, I mean, you know how those cartoons of that lady that's really skinny, all bones? Well, that cheek just went out like that. I feel like that old lady. But anyways, she went and got me a bottle of water, and I had my device on there, and I put the bottom of the bottle, which was really cold, on that cheekbone, and within 15 minutes the swelling went down. So, and I have not had any pain from it, although I don't know if I fractured this little bone right in here because it hurts. I can't put any pressure on it. And my ribs right here on the side, I thought it was my heart, but it wasn't because I right away took my blood pressure and it was normal. But I think every time I breathe or I lean against something, it bothers me. So I don't know if it's fractured. And I know they can't do anything for that. And until I get some money to get a brace to put on, then I'll get one. But I other than that, I have a big bruise on my, the saddle bag on not the hip, but the bottom leg. Well, that's, I mean, black and blue. It's literally going down now, but there's no pain. It's just black and blue. So I was pretty happy that I'm didn't, except for that few minutes of throbbing pain. After that, it was gone. So I don't feel any pain or anything. So I'm pretty happy about that.
I had a fabulous week last week. This was my annual physical. Once a year, I get to go see my doctor because I usually don't need him in between. And I have a holistic doctor, and all of my tests came out perfect, which I was very happy about. We did deal with the breast lump problem. I have previously had cancer in the breast, but had cured it. And so we ran all the tests again, and it says, no, it's not cancer. So we're now dealing with decision of what to do with that. And since he is holistic, we did a lot of testing, homeopathy, homeopathy or whatever. And he now has AI. And he said, I love it because I can get a lot of answers very quickly. And so he checked with AI and should it be operated on? Should it not? And AI says, no, don't touch it. Unless it's giving you a great deal of grief and pain, leave it alone. So then we went to homeopathy and herbs, etc. And that's what I'm working with now. And it doesn't bother me that much that I would. My concern was whether the cancer had come back. And it has not. So we did a good job.
I had a lipoma that was quite sort of like a 10-cent piece, but quite high and knobbly on my back. And it was hard. And then it started to go squishy. And then now it's 99.9% gone. Like just, yeah. my stamina has continued to increase. It actually, I started off wheezing and with the cool weather, and now it's like I haven't even got any wheezing at night. Like my lungs are open. So yeah, that's really very dramatic. So and then I mucked up my back a little bit. But I think I lifted something with one arm that was heavier than what I realized it was. And my back just started to kind of feel all sore down from my waist down to my tailbone. And so I've put my V9 on that because my lungs are clear. So I put my V9 on that and doing the yesterday I did the first touch session for 81 minutes. and it's like my back is 50% better.
I do have some large pots of things growing on a deck, and they gradually become very root bound and then not enough sun. So I wanted to basically get them, torn down and a couple of the things to go and live where they're going to have more sun. Well, this was like, wrangling a bull or something, because these were huge. And any of you who are gardeners understand what I'm saying about getting these things out of pots. But anyway, so I did this on like Wednesday, and I didn't get it all done, but I got one of them done, and I was so completely done in, I could hardly walk. I mean, that's how bad the pain was in my hip from doing this work. And I took the touch, fell into bed, and I thought it'll be a miracle if I'll be able to move in the morning. Well, sure enough, was I not even able to move, but it was like completely so much better. The pain, and I, could do mobility enough to do some hip exercises as well. So I feel like it's a miraculous thing.
My backstory on this situation that I'm going through right now has to do with my open heart surgery that I got home from rehab on February 19th. And ever since then, I've been getting, better. And a month ago, I started rehab, cardiac rehab, and I've been doing really well. I've been going bit by bit, getting stronger and making the power more and more, and doing really super well. And I was very, everything was going great. I pet sit this little Pomeranian, and he's a little bit of an escape artist. His name is Benny. And I've got my dog that I think you got, Kelly, and I've been nursing her with seizures and so forth, but she's doing really well. And I think the touch has something to do with that, because I keep it going all the time. I do the touch like if I'm on the computer, and I'm on there a lot, just, on Telegram and stuff, I have it right next to me. It's constantly. And I have my cell phone on. And what I do is I put my hand on that so I can feel it. And then I put my hand on the laptop. So it's kind of making, I don't know, I'm just really utilizing it. And it goes forever. My touch goes forever. It doesn't stop ever. I mean, it stops and then I just hit it and then it goes again. I could do it all day long. It would just do it. So I do. If I'm sitting there, I have it on. Okay, so I've had, so Tuesday, let's go back to this Tuesday. Today is what? Monday. So last Tuesday, I'm walking little escape artist Benny, and I'm walking my dog, and and Benny cuts out to the right somehow. And so I'm looking at Benny, and my foot caught on the sidewalk, which is like about this high from the other, and there was an orange line. She painted it. So I knew it was there, but I wasn't looking. I was looking at that dog, and I had these shoes on that aren't good. They caught on it. And I went down, when you're arm wrestling and you go like that, and you beat the other guy like that. That's how I went down. I went down on my side, just bang, on this side. But thank goodness, I guess, because I was trying to make sure that Benny didn't get out of, my head didn't hit. It was just my side. And I went down so hard. I went, oh my God, but I didn't break anything. I knew I'd broken every bone in my body. I knew I hadn't broken anything. So I kind of sat up, and my neighbor came out, and she came out and talked to me. And then I scooted over, and I was able to stand up and walk. And I walked all the way down to the end of the block and back again and all that stuff. But boy, I'll tell you, I hit hard. And so, I got the touch on myself. I did put ice on it. I did what I could do. It was doing okay. I didn't go to rehab the next day. I was smart enough about that, but something like my groin or something. But I tell you, it never, for how hard I hit, and the fact that I'm taking blood thinners now, which I've never taken in my life, but they're forcing me to do that because of blah, 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 until I finish cardio, I'm taking, it didn't, I hit my arm, I hit my leg. It can't be anything but the touch. How could I not just be totally black? Because I bruise so easily. So I do have a bruise there. It finally came up, but it's not what you would think. It's not. And I was able to get up the next morning and walk, and I was able to, I know it's the touch. I know. It's gotta be. It's making it, and I went back to rehab on Friday, and I was able to do it. I went back the levels, but I was able to do it. I swear. How do I know exactly? But it just seems to me.
Kitty I've had for 15 years. He's been declining, and he told me he didn't want me to take him to the vet, and he wanted to do it his way. And Wednesday last week, he passed away. So I've never done this before, but the universe didn't have anybody around to help me with this. So and I think a lot of it has to do with the support of the frequencies of the touch and being able to stay aware. I was able to listen to him, and he told me everything that he wanted to do. And first thing is he said, I did it my way. And I heard the song from Frank Sinatra, and it was so him. But I was trying to figure out where am I going to put him, and it was kind of a busy day. I had an appointment in the afternoon, and so I dug a 2.5 foot deep hole in my rocky soil up here in the Gold Country, and made this beautiful little spot for him out in my food forest. And before December, I would not have been able to dig a 4-inch hole, let alone a 2.5 foot hole. And my nervous system and everything kind of went through the motions, but it wasn't debilitating because I have autoimmune issues. In the past there was autoimmune stuff going on, and I have to say that my immune system is starting to has stepped back up. Otherwise, I don't think I could have done any of it. And to be able to hear him, and to be able to hear what he wanted, and the beautiful connection that first 36 hours that I had with him still being here, I have never experienced anything like that unless I was in sacred session. So I would have to say that the touch also helped me to tap into that beautiful part of me, so that so instead of supporting someone else, I was supporting me.
So what I have experienced lately is I've experienced a couple interesting things. One being that I don't remember when it was, somewhere within these last 2 weeks. I had a very strong grand mal sensation. And what had happened was, it was interesting because it was obviously, it came on slower, but it had that fear and paranoia that hadn't shown up for months, basically since I've started with the touch and with QHS in general. So it was very strange that it had showed up, because there was a lot of, because that's how it used to be. It used to show up as paranoia, fear, and go like that. I would have maybe 5 seconds, not even, and then I would black out. This time I was actually able to, I'm like, okay, Jace, the paranoia, this is stepping in. So he was able to help me with getting the computer on my feet and the phone on my head. And it went away, I don't know, maybe 5-10 minutes. Not even. It went completely away. And it stopped the grand sensation. I call that the double touch when I have the phone on the head and the computer on the feet. That's what we call it, is the double touch. So I had them running at the same time, and it seemed to be really, really effective. And it was just, it was an amazing experience, because I had not experienced that in a long time. But the fact that it was able to remove it so quickly, I mean, I had to kind of also recover, but that was just, it was pretty shocking. And then another experience I'd had that was more on the recent side, maybe the last few days. I've been hit in the head by my dog, Mr. Oof, who you can see kind of in the background there. He's that black blob sitting on the couch. I've been known to be hit many times. He's a big boy, doesn't know how big he is. So he hit me. I kind of was going down, and I was going down and then coming back up. And he just zoomed right past me, and basically his back hit my jaw and my teeth clamped together. I was having pain behind the eyes and the head. And Jason's like, is that a small concussion? I'm like, I'm not sure. But first I had to go check my teeth to make sure my teeth were okay, right? But then I actually did the double touch. So I put the computer at my feet and the phone on my head, and all of the pain, basically any sensation I had behind my eyes and my jaw, my teeth, anything was gone in less than like 5 minutes. It was like 5 minutes or less. So that was really incredible. I was like, this is awesome. So if there's any injuries, I'm just gonna, do that right away. So that was really cool. That was a really great thing as well. So that's been a really big thing. And I just love how when I use the touch, I get a lot of, also sometimes I'll just sit outside on my balcony and I'll use the touch and just sit with nature. And sometimes I'll get like epiphanies or clarity. And that's a really nice thing as well. And it's a really, really great concept. And sometimes even when I'm thinking of really big ideas, big concepts, theories, stuff like that, sometimes I'll also sit with the touch, because it helps me to be able to then, I guess you could say, have bigger ideas.
My main issues health-wise have been my heart and my knees and my shoulder. And all three of those are involved in exercise or lack thereof. And so I've had a slow recovery. But in the last month or so, I had seen several videos on sunning to help improve your vitamin D absorption, and grounding. And I'd combine grounding and sunning. And after both of those things, I felt a little more stamina, energy, and mentally I was preparing to do the physicality part of it. And thanks to several ladies right before our break, they were talking about how much they were getting out and enjoying their gardening. So I said, okay, I'm going to add that aspect to it as well. Excuse me, I got to stop this. Okay. So the first day I sharpened my axe, because I'm on the ground chopping these tree sprigs that began coming up, and I've got a whole yard full of them. So before I actually got going, I nicked my finger. And so it was bleeding pretty good. So I just stuck it in the ground, got it some dirt in it, and got it to where it stopped the bleeding, and carried on for 3 hours. And, part of my issue is getting up and down. So when I finally said, okay, I think I'll quit for today, I went in and immediately got my touch going and did a double session, and did several more double sessions until I maxed out. And the next day I had very little pain. I had just a tinge of pain, but very little. And my fingers stopped bleeding. And so I said, well, I'm not going to rush this thing. So I waited 2 more days before I did the second session. And I dove in again, and I did about 3 hours. And again, I'm sunning and grounding while I'm also doing my exercise, and had very little pain after that. And today I did my third session on the ground for 2 hours, and came in, and I haven't done any touch, and I feel just real good. So that's been kind of a progression of 3 things, but especially want to thank the ladies who told me about their gardening experience and how they overcame their pain. And it gave me the impetus to get out there and get with it. And it's paying off. That's all I'm saying.
But I just wanted to say I still have so much stamina. Like today, I've had a painter here painting, and I taped the windows, and I was doing squats, and I was up and down on a stool sitting. And I was like, I can't believe that literally I'm getting up and down like squatting. And it's just amazing. The other thing is I've had a lot of sinus kind of ear popping lately, my jaw, a lot of it. And so I've been putting my V9 and doing the touch, but putting it on my ears, putting it on my sinuses. And today it seems to be a lot better. Sometimes too, I'll fall asleep and I'll be charging my device before I go to bed, and I'll forget, and I go to bed without it. And it's like I'll wake up having really strange dreams, and then I'll realize I don't have my V9 with me. So I'll go get it and put it kind of on my heart, and then it helps me go back to sleep. And then a lot of times, like Kiora this morning, I wake up and I'm on the 4 o'clock touch HHS too, and that really, really helps me a lot. It helps me just to hear Kira's voice. So anyway, all of you guys. So anyway, and black and blues. I take low dose aspirin for cardiovascular issues, and I'm not bruising like I used to. And whenever I hurt myself, I put the devices on me too, and do the touch as much as possible. So I'm still sometimes airing it through my sound bar, and it hums through like my whole, I don't have a very big living quarters, but it like hums, and I'll go and do chores or do whatever I'm doing with it going. So anyway, but yes. So anyway, that's my share.